This is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield from the Lynn Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Michael provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield.
Howdy, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Mike Mansfield, and if you're watching the show today and not just listening to it on a podcast, you also see that we have the beautiful young Owen Hill online with us today. Say hi, Owen.
Hi,
always,
thanks.
We've gotten in a habit. Tana used to do a lot of shows with me. Owen's done a couple of them, and then I ghosted both of them and just was running with them on my own. Part of the problem is I like to record stuff really early in the morning while Owen's got those like things under his eyes to beautify his face probably, and he's got a mask on and he's got his curlers in his hair. But the reality is Owen's in Texas at our Texas office outside of Dallas. Him and his mom, Tana, they've been super busy. They've been doing seminars, and look at him, he even dresses incredible. Like he's just a little stud muffin. But people always forget about, the rest of us around here. Here, I'll pop it up real fast so we can remind everybody. How do I do this? How's that? That's pretty. So obviously the most adorable people at the top of the page here. I got me, my mommy. By the way, just because it's a secret, and I like to tell all my mom's secrets, my mom did fall down a couple weeks ago and crack her tibia. She fractured it, so she hasn't been in the office. But everyone that knows her knows she's such a type A personality that's been extremely frustrating for her. So, give her some well wishes. But everybody knows Tana. She's been around forever. She's been working with us for over a decade. Owen, you came on, 4 years ago? Goodness, you were still in college working on that Ivy League degree or whatever they call them. Very fancy, very credible young man. On the far right page here, past Kathy and Andrea, which everyone knows here in the Ventura office, is Hadley. That's actually Owen's wife. I know that's confusing. Some people wouldn't think that he was capable of getting a spouse, but he was able to pull that off. And how old's your baby?
16 months. So 17 months this month, but 16 months. He's getting
terrifying.
big and running around all over the place. So it's crazy.
Well, the reality is, I'm a man of, you need to have another one now. What are you waiting for? I need you to commit to our audience right now. The next baby's on its way.
I will commit that the next baby is on its way at some point.
Oh, okay. So he's not giving it to us, but that's okay.
No answer,
So in any case, happy to have Owen on. We're going to have him on more. And good news, because I'm getting so old around here and boring and people are sick of me, I'll probably have Owen starting to do some of his own shows, probably have Tana on here too. And that way I can just fade into my retirement of whatever that means, sitting here still doing the same old thing. But in any case, want to get down to business. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Hope it was a nice holiday. Obviously, the weather where we're at was fantastic. But it was interesting, right? It's a long 4-day weekend. Friday, the stock market was open. The stock market got back to pretty much all-time highs. The S&P was 1% from its all-time high on Friday. And it's been kind of touch and go this week. It's back up this morning. But what are some of the things you're looking at, Owen? I know that you were talking to me about some economics this morning, young man.
Yeah, we actually had a really interesting report come out, the ADP jobs report. It's a cool report. So perfect. It's a snapshot of the private sector. So it's a little different than the one we're typically so comfortable with looking at, that BLS report, because that BLS report actually takes into consideration government employment. And so this ADP report is really awesome. It's the only jobs report that we're going to get before we actually get a Fed meeting in December. But essentially, right, analysts at least had an expectation that we would have around 40,000 jobs added. But as you see clear as day on the screen, that was not the case. We actually saw a $30,000 job decrease. So what, a 70,000 swing? So Quite a difference, quite a jump. Yeah, and it's honestly a really telling report indicator and what's going on in the market as of late. So essentially,
yeah.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
when I saw, so you were talking over each other. This is the first time I've done a joint thing. I normally just rant. So Owen knows that I'm a controlling person when it comes to speaking. But no, when you sent this to me, because you sent it to me, I was sitting in the sauna at LA Fitness, and you texted this over to me, and it just kind of made me chuckle because I'm always reminded that sometimes the analysts and economists are about as useful as the weathermen. That's a pretty big miss from what people were promising.
Right.
But the other thing you sent me, because I loaded all these things sneakily, is you were also talking about kind of the trajectory of all of this.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you can see, since July, we've been net negative, right? So it's starting to paint the picture that the overall jobs market, specifically more on the private side from this chart, is it's saying, look, the labor market is probably actually deteriorating, and now we're starting to see the cracks come to fruition. On one note, I like to point out with this specific jobs report is a lot of the lagging numbers, they're actually coming from these small businesses. So small businesses from ADP standpoint, I guess, are any firm with 50 or less employees. That number is different depending on which person you go to. But for this one, I'll just say any firm with less than 50 employees is a small business. Why is that important? Well, it's a leading indicator because small businesses, they don't weather financial stresses the same way that these large firms or these mid-sized firms, right? They don't have the balance sheet to do it. And so, right, we're starting to see the cracks. We're starting to see the things that everyone's talking about. It's just very interesting. You mentioned that the stock market's actually up today. That's a very weird thing. Why is the stock market up when we just got a bad jobs report? It's so backwards, right? We're living in a time where, what is it? What's the analogy? Bad news is actually good news, right? Everybody is so heavily concentrated, so focused on what is the Fed going to do, right? So with a jobs report like this coming out, that just means the Fed is more likely, all but certain, to cut rates in December. And so they see that as a good thing. But in reality, it's a bearish thing, right? This job report is a bearish indicator.
Which is funny because that's such a great point. I mean, the Dow's up 250 points after crappy economic data. So it's always fascinating. Right. But you hit it right on the money there. Is people are so addicted, so focused. I just did the show last week. Where's the cheap money, right? Everybody's so focused on what the Fed's going to do. So here's the CME rate watch tool. Obviously, I pull this up a lot for anyone who watches our videos. It wasn't but 2 weeks ago, the probability of a rate cut, this blue bar on the left side, was at like 38, 39%. It's now at 90%. And the rate meeting's next week. So it just even creeped up a little bit, another 7% since last week. Once again, going to this theme that all the economic data is pointing towards the rate cut. And that's all the market cares about, because they think that we can just speed up the velocity of money, make car loans cheaper, make mortgages cheaper. Honestly, the other thing that's not getting a lot of play that I keep touching on too is December also now opens up the moment that the Federal Reserve is starting their quantitative easing. So as much as they're cutting rates, they're also printing money to create liquidity. Liquidity makes the world go round. I had touched on the idea last week of, the theme of, are we in a bubble? Well, the good news is if we're in a bubble, bubbles don't pop when there's liquidity floating around. So if the Feds are easing and the Feds are cutting, if there is a bubble, all they're going to do is make it bigger. But it's funny. So you bring up this point on, great point, right? ADP comes out, feels a little pessimistic. The numbers are pretty sour. It'll be interesting, I think, next week, or gosh, maybe it's Friday. Goodness gracious. When the Bureau of Labor Statistics payroll comes out, we'll see how that either complements this, goes against it. We'll find out. But what happens over the weekend? So this is the best part of the show. Is CNBC always has the best headlines, right? U.S. holiday shoppers shake off economic blues and go nuts. So everybody eats turkey, everybody falls asleep, and everybody wakes up on Friday and says, holy cow, I'm going to go spend a boatload of money. And oh, by the way, if anybody pulls me, I'm going to say I'm very pessimistic because remember, consumer sentiment is down, everything's down. But elective spending broke records. $24 billion have been spent in a 3-day, what they're calling shopping frenzy, exceeding all expectations.
Yeah.
Online spending up 5% year over year. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, it's hard to digest what's going on, right? Because in one breath, Owen just told us the labor market's falling apart, and so that you would say, oh my gosh, people are worried. They're losing their jobs. But at the same token, holy cow, people aren't holding back on making sure that they got this photos of Macy's. I personally did not do any Macy's shopping last weekend.
Well, it's funny. I mean, to your point more, like this morning as I'm watching CNBC, that everyone's talking about this jobs report and saying all these things, and everybody says, oh, it's driven by the consumer. The consumer is worried. The consumer is scared. They're not spending money. Things are starting to contract. But yeah, you just pointed out, and we had one of the most biggest spending sprees over the weekend. I might have been a little bit guilty. I woke up after having all that turkey and said, man, I'm not doing anything today. Might as well go buy something. I didn't responsibly. We didn't buy
that's good.
Fall victim to it, but it is right. It's just the nature of how we deal with the holidays.
You could have bought me a tie.
Yeah.
You know how old you just sounded when you said this morning when I was watching CNBC? Oh my God.
I know.
Owen is old all of a sudden. Now if you had said this morning when I was watching TikTok, that would
maybe I'll do that
appropriate.
instead. Just make a code for TikTok or something. Instagram Reels.
So that's it for the moment. You can guys also see that we use the beautiful holiday theme. We're in the Christmas season. This is the season of giving, of gratitude. That's always an encouragement that I say for everybody. One of the things that we're doing here at the Lynn Group is we are doing the Sparks of Love toy donation for the Ventura County Fire Department. And so you're probably getting some of our emails. We just sent one out on, I think, Monday again. But that runs through December 16th. So we would encourage everybody to think about, being grateful for what you have, but also to give to those that have less than you. Please bring a toy by our office and we will get it over to the fire department, police department on the 16th of December. And those things will get distributed into the county to families that are in need. So we would certainly appreciate that. Last year, we had a great haul. We had many, many boxes. It was a pain in the butt to get it all over to the department.
Yeah.
But, it's such a blessing to be able to help others. So appreciate it. Owen, it's nice to have you on here. We appreciate hearing from you and hope to hear from you more often. If you guys got any questions, call us, call the office, visit our main website, thelindgroup.com. Other than that, everybody have a nice day. Take it easy. Toodaloo. Bye-bye.
Thanks.